Hello everyone, welcome back to Apocaflix Movies. This is the crew for today's special video, and we are going to be doing the top 10 overall movies of the decade. Not just the year, not just of the past 4 years, we're doing the decade, the last 10 years of movies. We are ranking them, we have ranked them, and we have an official consensus list here on Apocaflix. But before we get to that ranking, let me introduce everyone here today. We have the 5 crew members to talk about this, which is going to be very, very fun. I am Jake Boleyn. That is Jacob Bartley,
Hello. Keith
Barnes, Brian Avellino, and Gio Ramos.
And Stormy.
And a hungover Stormy. He's got a jacket and glasses on. You know, he had a little rough night.
Quite the decade.
So look, before we get into the actual lists and talk about these movies, a little bit of a background on how we do this. Now, for this specific ranking, we took our top 20 movies. We ranked 20 movies of the decade, our favorite 20 movies, and we gave them a point system. So number 20 would get 1 point, our first movie would get 20 points, and everything in between. We rank them, and we have an overall list of 10 movies with 10 honorable mentions. There were a total of 61 movies mentioned in our lists. We're not going to go through all of them. But we felt like because it's 10 years worth of movies, 20 movies was a good amount to go with. So before we get to it, any expectations for anything? As far as high numbers, low, like maybe something that you don't expect to make the list?
I'm going to say at least in the top 10, at least 4 Marvel movies.
That's interesting.
It's a fair shot.
It kind of was the decade of Marvel. That makes sense. Anybody else?
I don't want to guess because it's so
Me
random,
too.
and I don't want to see Jake's face when I guess. So
This is from 2010.
2019,
Okay.
which is crazy. That, we started this whole, website coming together, then YouTube channel. We all met in this decade, so this is a special decade.
It's a big thing for us, yeah.
Like no matter what, no matter how many of these decade shows we do, this is the first one.
Keith and I came in when? 16 or 17?
16. I think late 16, I think is when you guys came in.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're
Thank
gonna
God
do?
for them.
We're gonna save our honorable mentions for the end of the show, so we don't spoil anything in our top 10.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of movies to choose from, obviously, but it's much more fun this way. So
I think I'm most excited to see what 11.
It's gonna be so random. It's gonna be. There's gonna be some ones that are like, yes, of course they're there, but it's gonna be so random.
I want to know what 11 is.
maybe.
Me too.
What's
funny, Gio, you say Marvel movies, because I only have 3 in my whole top 20. So I left off a lot of those.
I
I think
before, but I'm
honestly,
sure
I think I might only have one of them in my top 20.
And yeah, I only have one, and
So-
one barely made it. So.
All right, guys, number 10, and it was on 3 people's lists with 33 points. Edgar Wright's Baby Driver.
Nice.
Nice.
Cracked the top
Awesome.
10.
Excellent.
Its highest ranking was at, what is that, 2019, 18, 17? It was at number 15, and that was for...
That was the highest ranking?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I had it at
wow.
5.
Nope, I had.
Oh, you had it, excuse me, sorry, I'm looking at these backwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
back.
That's my
Oh, okay,
apologies,
gotcha.
I was
my
going to say, wait a
apologies.
minute.
My bad, my bad.
I know
So is the
bad
whole
at
list
math.
wrong now?
My bad, nuts, my bad. That's my bad. No, so Baby Driver at number 10 with 33 points.
My number 5. I love it.
So do I.
Number 5 movie of the decade.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
It sat, the next person was Gio, and you had it at, I want to say number 10. Number 10, and I had
So
it...
you and I must have been there.
I didn't have it on my list.
I had it at 14.
Trust me,
Okay.
it was considered. It was.
Yeah.
Baby Driver is amazing.
Yes.
Did we see it? I think you and I might have saw it.
Yeah.
I think you and I saw it together.
We didn't catch it opening night, but we
Yeah,
did watch it.
we went later to see it. Yeah.
It's one of my only, and I might go back on this, but it's one of my only 5 stars. I
Okay.
gave it a 5 out of 5.
Nice.
I
I had
Where
like
was it for you on your...
I would.
yeah, I would.
14.
I had like 45 movies listed, and it was definitely in there. Like
Yeah.
from my starting list, it was in there for sure.
Yeah.
Love that movie, but this list was so difficult. Like compared, even more difficult than the superhero list, than the comic book movie list.
Oh, I could take a whole 20 out of my honorable mentions and make another top.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, written and directed by Edgar Wright.
You're right, man.
First with the writing.
Yeah.
These characters that he writes are just the best.
Yes.
Seriously, Jamie Foxx, and
John
John
Hamm.
Bernthal,
Mhm.
John Hamm.
The opening scene of this movie is incredible.
Yes.
You get the sense with the iPod, right? How he has to listen to the music. You get the bank robbery stuff. The driving by Ansel Elgort.
Harlem
is
Shake, the song.
insane.
Used to be, some of the best directors with Tarantino, Scorsese, Edgar Wright. Best use of music in film, in my opinion. They use the songs, not just
As a prop.
Yeah, there's the characters are.
Yeah.
Like,
It,
the characters.
it was a character.
tells
It
the
is a
story.
character.
Yeah.
It's one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think I may be one of the only people that ever says this, but don't ever make a sequel.
No,
I agree.
I do not
with
want
you.
a sequel.
I agree.
That's his one movie where people
Yeah.
wanted him to
I
make a
don't
sequel.
want a sequel.
Yeah,
I could see where they might go.
it would kind of.
With
It
a
wouldn't
couple of
ruin the
people.
first movie, but it would just. It's such a beautiful story, just as
And
is.
we didn't mention, but Lily James,
Billy James,
so
awesome,
great.
Amazing.
Lily James,
really good Southern accent.
She's amazing.
Oh, I love
was
her.
that?
I'm with you.
She's awesome.
I saw some
She's a great
eyes
actor.
flutter.
more, yeah.
No, you know she's awesome in
British.
Pride, Prejudice,
That
and
movie
Zombies.
is so fun.
Which-
She is in that.
Like,
isn't she?
I want to see her do an action role. When they were talking about Batgirl, I wanted them to cast her as Batgirl. She's an incredible actress.
Agreed.
A lot of people. One of the criticisms I fought with people on this. Like, people didn't buy Kevin Spacey's turn. I guess.
No, I
Which I don't
100%.
understand.
100%.
Yeah, I don't.
I will admit though that watching the movie and knowing everything with him now kind of does.
Oh, yeah.
It affects my viewing of it a little
Yeah,
bit because
sure.
everything he's in is like
It keeps.
Yeah,
He keeps
yeah,
doing
yeah.
weird stuff.
that. Yeah, let's not talk about
Yeah.
quality of it. That's just strange.
Whatever. But yeah.
All right, guys. Well, moving on to number 9. This was just on 2 lists. Ex Machina. And that is because of Jacob and I.
Are you kidding me?
Really?
I thought Ex Machina was going to be in the top 3.
It seemed like he's
Oh
reaction
my
that he forgot. about
Goodness.
it. Did you forget about Ex Machina, Keith?
I did.
See,
Oh.
I knew doing this, like,
Oh,
I thought I was going to forget about some movies. Like, I knew some of us were going to forget about some movies. Hey, it made the list. It's okay.
Yeah.
It should have been
It
higher,
could have
though.
been higher.
It would have been.
So you had it
I'll
at
tell you that
15?
right now.
You had it at 15?
So, no, I had it at 5. So,
Wow.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it backwards.
yeah. I
5.
had it at 5.
I had it at 2.
I'm telling you right.
Dude, we're
I
lucky
had it
it
too.
made... Man, when that
Oh, it
movie
would've
came
been
out...
high.
You and I both.
So we...
It probably would have been
Yeah,
top
it
5.
came out in 2015, and
Uh-huh. Yeah.
we had it in our top 2 that year.
Mhm.
That year.
So remember, I remember saying that year, Star Wars: The Force Awakens was my favorite movie of the
But
year.
it was-
Ex Machina
it was
was
the best. We both
film
said
of the
that.
year,
Yep.
Period.
I freaking love that
I
movie.
can't believe you didn't have it on the list at all.
It's like
Very
number
upset.
23, probably, or 22, trust me.
Look, man, Alex Garland. I didn't know anything about this guy as a director. He clearly knows how to capitalize on sci-fi, like real, original sci-fi, not like space stuff or anything like that. It's just straight, grounded sci-fi with the robotics and AI and everything. Classic stuff. This is where we first get to notice Alicia Vikander and see her true abilities as an actress. She's incredible.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac in that famous dance scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
So good.
amazing.
And then Domhnall Gleeson as well. Like the cast,
Yeah.
like especially in that time period, the cast. I mean, you have 2 Star Wars guys who were coming up. You know, we're looking forward to them later that year in The Force Awakens.
And Gleason was the good guy.
Gleason
and
was the good guy.
I was
And
going to
then
say Poe,
and then
but
that ending-
Oscar Isaacs was kind of not the
And
good
then
guy.
that ending is one of the best turns you will ever see in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
period,
it's
man.
a
so
creepy
good.
film. I absolutely love that movie. I saw it. I remember I watched it by myself, I think, or maybe I watched it with Gio.
We went to United
Yeah, we
States.
did. I saw it with Gio, and I was just blown away by that movie.
The
And
score.
It's such a small movie.
Yeah.
It's such a small little film,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't think, but it's. I have it at number 5 of the decade. Like that's crazy.
Oh, it's all number 2?
Oh, this guy's house too. This is
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
it's such an intelligent film, and I think it's a future-telling film, to be honest. So, it's
maybe.
I'll never forget about that movie. It's awesome. And so, where would it be on your list? If
Do you think it'd be up there?
It might be top 6 or 7.
so it would have
Oh,
elevated
man.
the overall list.
Oh,
completely.
man.
Hey,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
just glad it made the list.
I'm actually really mad.
Yeah.
So it
happens,
had
man.
it had 35
happens.
points. So it had 35 points. Say he would have put it at like 6. That would have
I
given
probably would
it.
have probably around 6. Yeah.
It would have surpassed the 3 spot.
Wow.
It would have jumped that high. That's how close everything.
It would have been number 3.
Uh huh.
That's good to know. It's good to know.
One, it's a 2-headed
It's
race
okay.
at the top.
Very
it's
sorry.
a 2-headed race, but it would have jumped to the 3 spot.
My bad.
Awesome.
My fault.
It's all
It's all
good.
good,
I
man.
can't
That's
believe
the
I
point of
forgot
this.
that.
That's the
Can't
point.
believe I
It's all
forgot
good.
that.
The fact that you forgot about it, though, says something, too.
Oh god, the
Were you
classic
just going
shit,
off the top of
man.
your head? I went through
No, I did
a
it first.
list of every decade.
Well, I did that later, but
Yeah.
I just started rattling off the top of my head, and then I went.
I guarantee you I missed something big
So,
that I
yeah.
shouldn't have.
I actually
Okay.
just thought of another.
All right, number 8 And this was, again, only on 2 lists, and this is because of Gio and I. Birdman.
Can I say I
Wait a
haven't
minute.
had a single one of these movies on any of my lists? Why
All
am I
right,
here?
okay, so
Hold on.
Birdman. So Birdman, you had it at number 2, and I had it at 4.
It's number 8.
It's number 8 with 36 points.
It was in my top 35.
Yeah,
top 35.
Yeah.
This, oh
You have to
my
remember,
God.
a lot of these I haven't seen, so they didn't make my list at all.
All right, this movie is genius.
Uh-huh.
This movie
Somewhere
is
here.
brilliant.
Legit.
This movie is unprecedented. Only shot in 30 days or less.
And it's the first film I've ever seen that's one continuous shot
one continuous shot, and
Well,
you got to remember. Well, okay,
that I've
so
seen.
the way it's
That's edited
it's-
like
yeah.
that. That's what I'm saying. That's
You're right.
edited like that.
And that's even more of an accomplishment because these actors, they got to remember
oh, it's so hard to do.
huge chunks, pages of dialogue, and
Camera
Oh, yeah.
movement, timing, all that stuff. It's very
When
hard.
to walk
Alejandro-
in, when to
Yeah.
duck, all that type of
Hit
stuff.
all your marks.
two-time Oscar-winning director back-to-back, Alejandro Inarritu.
And you're too.
The way he got performances
Love that
out
guy.
of this cast, it's remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton was obviously shafted for not winning the Oscar that
Keaton,
year.
oh my God, biggest
but-
robbery of the
Who won?
decade.
2014.
Eddie Redmayne.
Theory of Everything.
It was Eddie
Redmayne.
Redmayne.
Who I
It was
think-
Eddie
Okay.
Redmayne.
I think he deserved to
But
win.
remember Gyllenhaal.
I started watching that last night because we were talking about it the
Yeah.
other day. I don't know, man. Redmayne.
I've been saying Redmayne
so
since the
you had
beginning.
Michael
He should have
Keaton,
won.
But anyway, yeah.
you had
Deserves
Emma
to
Stone.
win that.
The Stone.
You had
Emma
Edward
Stone's-
Norton.
Emma Stone was
Edward
great in
Norton
this
was
movie. Edward Norton was
incredible.
well, yeah.
Zach
Oh, yeah.
Galifianakis.
Zach
Magnificent.
Galifianakis, Naomi
And then
Watts.
Naomi Watts.
Yes.
Like that it's a 5-headed
she's-
horse, man.
that's
That's
amazing.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
Such good acting.
Yeah.
Alejandro Inarritu, I mean,
Yes.
we haven't seen much of him
Naomi
since Red
Watts
House.
was nominated for that, right?
Yeah.
She
He was.
better have been.
He was. I think he was. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Emma Stone was as well.
I think she
Emma
was.
Stone
She
Yeah.
was too, yeah.
Edward
Yeah.
Norton was,
Yeah.
and Mike
Like
Norton
every
was
part of the
nominated.
film was nominated. Edward Norton was nominated. You were
was
correct.
nominated.
Such
Yeah.
a jerk. He's good at playing.
Yeah.
A lot of
and,
people
and
think that's him.
And that's what's also brilliant about this movie is Keaton and Norton, they're kind of playing
themselves.
yeah,
As I'm saying,
themselves a little
people.
bit, you know?
There's been a lot of stuff about Edward Norton being kind of just like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just it's so incredible. I mean, I think back to that scene where Emma Stone is just going off on Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
And she's just the two of them are just working so well together. It's incredible.
It was my number one of that year.
And the music too.
The music was
Oh
great.
my
The ending.
God.
The ending of
Yes.
the hospital.
It's 14, right?
Open-
14?
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Very
Is
much
this a
an open
movie I'm
ending.
going to hate? Because I'm interested.
Who-
I don't think so.
Michael
I think
Keaton,
you'd like it.
Michael Keaton is a force in this
So
movie.
it's not a slow movie.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
and
it's
the
a
music's
fast-paced
continuously
movie.
going.
Oh, yeah.
The
Right.
music is continuously going. So you're kind of sitting there like, okay,
Yeah.
The
kind of
performances are too good. Like you would like
You'll
it.
like it.
It speaks about an actor's career.
Right.
It speaks about film critics. It's so how is it only on
it's only on
number
two
8?
lists.
Okay, I want to hear the rest.
All right, well, moving on to number 7. Everyone had this on their list except me.
Oh, finally I'm involved.
Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay.
Yes.
And the highest person for this one was Jacob, and you had it at 6, I think it was.
Something like
yeah,
that,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
I mean, it's my
Yeah.
favorite Avengers film,
Mhm.
and
Agree. Same.
it's you can take the first Avengers movie, Endgame, this, and just be like it was thing that defines the Avengers because there's so many. You can even take some solo movies and say that they define the Avengers, but for me, this was just it had. Well, I want to say it had the most Avengers on it for the longest period of time, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, Endgame has more Avengers in it, but not for that long.
They didn't
of
die
screen
till the end.
Exactly. So I just this movie is just encapsulates everything that the MCU is, and I love it so much.
Well, it also gave this very dark, serious tone
Yeah.
that we hadn't seen. We've seen it before, but not to that extent.
Good guys didn't win.
And the
Right.
the bad guy was the main character, which
Yeah.
is the first time you've ever really seen that in a superhero movie, and it was a complete success.
It left you feeling like what's gonna happen next. Very Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Like where half of the superheroes are gone.
I think that's my most shocking moment in a theater ever. Like just the way the whole crowd was reacting.
And obviously we
It's
knew
crazy.
something was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
But
what I was just gonna say. If you've read the Infinity comic,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the way
it was coming.
But when it's executed that way and still impacts you, that's when you know it's like, okay, this isn't just a good movie. This is a great.
Still shocking. Like you knew it was coming, and those of us who nerds like us knew it was coming, and it still was like, oh,
There's a reason. There's a reason it's one of our posters.
exactly.
So,
Every one of those people that vanished, we were just like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh man, oh no, oh, R2.
And they weren't
Oh, man.
weren't
It was like,
afraid to pull at your heartstrings. Remember Groot with Rocket,
Ugh.
Spider-Man with Tony.
Yeah.
Like they pulled the two biggest heartstrings you could possibly pull in that situation.
and it worked perfectly in conjunction with Thor Ragnarok and the way Thor's
absolutely,
story
yeah.
from there on, from up till now, the way the story was told. And this movie had so much to live up to because we haven't seen Thanos in some post-credit scenes. That's it. And briefly in Guardians
That
of the
is
Galaxy.
so
He
true.
was
and
not
everyone was
building
like,
up to Thanos.
"Man, with Thanos, what you gonna do?
He better deliver,
I was
man.
one of those people.
First 10 minutes of this movie, boom,
Well,
right
not-
away.
not just that,
It's
but
real-
he literally-
he's not messing around.
Crap out of
He
the hole.
literally threw a planet at someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he wasn't messing
Threw
around.
a planet at someone.
So yeah,
Like-
they
This whole movie is a highlight reel.
they stuck to
Honestly.
it.
It so is.
And that's why I love it.
I still remember watching that first teaser and he pops up for the first time out of that time warp and people just start losing
Oh, yeah.
losing their mind.
Yeah. Avengers. The Russo brothers stuck the landing.
Just like Thor did when he came.
J.J.
to
Abrams.
Wakanda.
Yeah, there you go. One of the most
stuck
iconic
Exactly.
One of the most iconic scenes in superhero movies ever is
Yeah.
Thor, Rocket, and Groot popping up in Wakanda.
Oh, my goodness.
That
So
that
incredible.
moment is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Brian, where did Brian have it on his list?
This
So-
wasn't in my top 10.
Brian
Oh,
had
really?
it. No, you had it at number 18.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 16.
Yep, Gio had 16,
Really?
and you guys
You
had
love
your
this
top
movie.
10.
Yeah.
So top 20s
So
and top 10s.
you must love just you had you,
Me?
you-
Oh yeah, no, but it's
Your one's higher than that.
it's not
must
better
be.
than Birdman.
Sure.
Oh,
No.
come on.
I hear you.
Ugh.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, all right. This is a consensus. All right, let's keep.
All right, well, number 6, and this is thanks to myself, Keith, and Gio, Sicario.
Yes.
And Keith has it at number 1 of the decade.
Wow.
Really?
Tell you
Wow.
something.
I like this.
Hey,
movie.
this movie, man,
love this
I'm
movie.
with you. I'm with you.
I
Go ahead.
love this movie. It is. I mean, it's my number 1, and it's one of my favorite of all time.
Mhm.
I watch it at least once a month.
Yeah.
I really do. I never get tired of it. It's Emily Blunt
She's so good.
is so great in this.
So good.
Daniel Kaluuya as her partner, also great. I think I really underappreciated in this movie, but Brolin, Del Toro,
Del Toro's the man.
those guys, man, come on. Those two. They made a sequel off of them that wasn't as. It's okay. It's not really.
It's missing Denny.
It
It's
definitely-
missing him.
It absolutely it is. It is. And but I'd like to see more. I wouldn't mind seeing where they go with those two from there. But Del Toro in this movie is just
The final scene of that
Probably
movie
the
is,
best.
The final scene of that movie is what I think about every time.
Ooh,
the dinner scene.
Him and
Chilling.
Emily Blunt.
chilling.
Oh, that is
The-
right.
the-
Yeah.
That's what I think about every time I think about this movie.
So there's that, but right before that, the
the
dinner,
dinner scene where he
is-
finds.
Whoa. Man, and like that guy that's
Yeah.
some brutal stuff.
my God.
Also, that the way that the action is shot,
Yeah.
the outside of the border,
Oh, it feels so real.
when there's all those cars around and they kind of spot all these people. and
The
they're,
tension at the border, it's the thing where it's-
they're sitting. They're
Roger
sitting.
Roger Deakins?
Roger
Yes.
Deakins, yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's incredible. So good. And the music is so good as well.
Yes.
The score to everything. And the tunnel sequence, too, when Brolin, I think Brolin is chasing after her or something like that.
Yes, that's
Um,
right. Those underground tunnels. Yeah.
So good. And yeah, I mean, I think when we did our one episode of Apocaflix Underground, I mentioned how she's my favorite working actress.
Yeah.
And this was the movie. Why?
That John Bernthal cameo, which is a pretty brutal scene as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
That's
about
right.
that.
Yeah. And she's yeah.
Yeah, this movie definitely shows the dark side of law enforcement and just
The
warfare against
war on drugs. Yeah.
the war on drugs. The opening of the movie.
Yeah.
They discover the bodies.
Oh my God! In the walls and in
wall. And it was so misleading, I remember, because the trailers made it seem like Emily Blunt was just going to kick ass like
Mhm.
modern day Linda Hamilton.
no,
Not the case at
she's
all.
quite yeah.
She's like,
God,
going
wouldn't
through
she
trauma
just
the whole
wouldn't
is
she
time.
be
this?
the best Sarah Connor? Oh my goodness, you just got that in my head.
See?
I thought
Who-
you were going to say
who
Lara
needs-
Croft.
There you go. Next week's casting.
I drove when I was driving back here from Florida, I drove through Interstate 10, which goes through El Paso.
Yeah.
And Juarez is right there, and it's spot on. I'm driving by, looking at it like, oh my god, like this is Sicario. Like it's real. That's exactly what it is. Like, and I can't believe they actually shot there because I'm sure they encountered some difficulties.
Some scary stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
100%.
But yeah, that's my number one. I love the movie to death.
It wasn't on my list, but it was the first movie where I started to love Josh Brolin. I freaking
As like an actor,
love
yeah.
him in this movie.
Yeah.
He's awesome, and he continues that in the second one.
Those Crocs.
I was gonna say
Those Crocs. Those them so well. All right, guys, moving into our top 5. Number 5 on the decade list of 2010s, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And this
knew
was
it had to
on
make the
everyone's list but Gio's, and the highest it was number 2 on Mr. Bartley.
Yes.
Wow.
So during this decade, there's only been 2 movies where I had this indescribable feeling where I was just like over the moon, couldn't stop thinking about it, couldn't stop just like wanting to go and watch it over and over again. As soon as the Blu-ray came out and I watched it over and over and over again, only 2 movies that made me feel that way during this decade, and this was number 2. The second one to do that, well, it was actually first to do it because it came out first, but I can't describe that feeling, and I haven't had it since those movies, and so how can I not put it at number 2? It just that feeling of going to the theaters again to watch Star Wars was so amazing. Went out to dinner. I think we went at like midnight.
We went to a 1 a.m. show.
1 a.m. showing, and I was not tired at all
Nope.
because I was so excited, and that is a moment in my life I'll never get to have again. So just that whole couple weeks around The Force Awakens was so incredible.
That was so exciting.
That's
Same
why
way.
it's still my favorite of all the new films. Like including Solo and Rogue One and Episode 8 and 9, still my favorite hands down. So
Yeah, I remember that feeling too, but the one thing you just mentioned going to dinner, and I vividly remember this when I was walking out the door, G was buying shots at BJ's before the movie for the group you guys came with. And I was like, nope, not for me. See you guys at the theater. But yeah, no, this movie, man, is, like you said, it brought back Star Wars. It brought back Star Wars in the best way possible. So yeah.
Where was it on your list?
It was number 8.
Sick.
And Brian had it at number 6.
Dope.
I'm sure I had the lowest.
No, I
You
didn't
no,
have it
G
on my list.
didn't have it on his list.
Oh, you didn't have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't have it on his list.
I actually, and this was, I submitted you my list a week ago. But last night I was watching The Force Awakens at my hotel lobby because I stayed overtime. And the experience, I'll never forget, absolutely. This movie's very entertaining, but I can't help but rewatch it. And there are things in there that The Force Awakens presents.
Yep.
And the answers that we know now.
This new one mucked it up.
It doesn't feel like the right answer or like
Yeah.
the
Agree.
answer that we should have gotten.
I agree.
But that being said, this movie still holds up.
Absolutely.
You-
Everything.
The tracking shot of the X-wing fighter,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
incredible.
So good.
The introduction of the Rey character and Kylo Ren and the
Absolutely.
dynamic. It's still. I mean, I still have it at number 3 of my all-time Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
list.
Okay. Yeah.
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 And it's just I'll never forget the feeling. 10-year gap from 2005 to
Yeah.
2015.
Brian, you had it on your list too? I think, man.
Finally. Here. Hi. Yeah, I mean, Jacob summed it up. I mean,
Yeah.
never thinking you were going to get Star Wars again, and then all of a sudden, here comes this, and J.J. Abrams is the one that's going to be doing it, so you're like, oh, that's going to be good, because he's killing it with Star Trek at the time, and yeah. I mean,
And it
honestly,
has Han in it for most of the movie, which
I would imagine you guys are all.
probably was handled best as far as bringing the OT, the original
Don't
3
you
from the
dare
original
throw out
trilogy.
Yeah.
That teaser.
No, I was saying when Revenge of the Sith came out, you guys were all probably still in high school, right?
I was a year before high school.
Oh, wow, really?
2005, yeah. I
That
in
was
high
my
school in
freshman year of
06.
high school.
How old are you?
Sophomore.
I'm the youngest here.
stop
I'm the
aging me,
youngest here.
Keith. Stop aging me.
I was in middle school when it came out.
Stop
Okay.
aging me, Keith.
So it must have been very. I was.
It was a big deal. It was a big
Yeah,
deal. Very,
Oh,
very
yeah,
big
sure,
deal.
very
Because
big deal.
it
I
at,
missed school for it.
at the time, it was only the second Star Wars movie I've ever seen in theaters. I only
Okay.
ever saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters. I never got to see Episode 2 or 1. Or at least I don't have a memory of it.
Sure.
And
That's
so
the thing.
it was a
Right.
very, very big deal for me. And the lead up to it as well. I mean, I remember watching that first teaser and seeing the tracking shot, not the tracking shot, but the shot of Ray Speeder going by the Star Destroyer and being like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of the trailer, and we see Han and Chewie, we're home.
Whoa.
And you just start, like, the emotion just starts gushing out of you.
Yeah.
It definitely has an impact, and it always will for me. Because November of 2014 is when that trailer came out, and I remember where I was when it first came out, and just like being so happy that this trailer hit what it was supposed to be like, and that this movie a year later was as successful as it was.
Yeah.
Hey, it made the list, so I'm happy.
Okay, moving into number 4. Thank goodness this one made the list. Mad Max Fury Road. And this made it
Wow.
because myself, Gio, had it at the same exact spot at number
1. It's both your number 1.
3.
Oh, jeez.
But Brian also had it on his list.
What? Are you
right.
serious?
Where'd
No.
you have it at?
Hold on a second.
All right.
You don't ever get to talk bad about this movie again if it's in your top 20 of the decade.
Okay.
Period.
That was exactly my reaction.
You
Period.
can't make fun of. You
Okay.
can't make fun of.
Period.
Anymore.
The reason why, and I knew I've been waiting for
Because
this.
he
since
brainwashed you.
you can actually blame him.
we watched it.
We
Listen-
watched.
Oh man, I didn't know this.
After filming, he had like 2 or 3 hours to watch it, or to kill before work.
Yeah.
And we're flipping through the channels, nothing on, and I was like, "Oh, Gio, look, your crap movie's on." And he's like, "All right, let's watch it." I was like, "Okay." I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Okay, this isn't too bad."
It's amazing.
And I was talking to you about what's on screen too and how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
I actually kind of like it.
Listen,
Wow. Can I sit down with Brian with all the films I like and then explain to him why it's amazing and then do the list all over
a
again?
rewatch of
love
something
it.
will
It's a
do that.
truly great
I just
film.
recently watched. The kids and I watched Avatar. I've been bashing that movie for years.
Oh, like the 2009
Yeah,
Avatar?
James Cameron,
There's
Yeah.
only one.
I was thinking Last
Yeah.
Airbender.
Oh.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was
That
like,
one
what?
I did the same thing. Like, this movie's okay. Like,
Hey,
I didn't really.
You want to know what really drove it home for me? I bet you'll figure it out.
It's all. I'll tell you what it is. Oh, yeah.
Furious.
No, she's awesome.
Yep.
She is.
Yeah.
She is awesome in this movie.
Her,
We're supposed to get a sequel with her by now. Like,
Well, George Miller's been talking about it.
yeah. That I'm looking forward to.
It's no longer a thing of me, Brian, and Keith hating on Mad Max.
It's now 3 versus 2, baby.
No, he's not as far on.
I'm not-
guys.
so-
I'm not like. I appreciate it for what it is. Like that movie.
Where was it on your list?
10.
Yeah, 10.
10.
That's pretty damn high.
Yeah.
For me.
Wait, was it 10?
Yeah, it was 10. I know it's 10.
Wow.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
because I sat there going, am I really putting this movie in the top 10?
It's all those trailer reactions with the poster behind you. That's what did it.
Probably.
That's all that
I've
seeping
literally been brainwashed into liking this movie.
Yeah, you have.
But like,
I have a bobblehead too.
yeah, you do.
Nice.
The score on it is wild.
The
too.
single, I will get bashed for this, the single greatest track of all time, Brothers in Arms by Junkie XL.
Is that the one where it's like, oh?
Oh, did he do the score? I didn't know.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
the single greatest score track I have ever heard. Period.
Junkie X.
Yep.
I'll give it a listen.
I appreciate it more now, probably because he was telling me like stuff that's going on a little bit.
It's like 95% practical effects.
And
when you think of it that
also-
way, that's insane.
I will say this: I'm weird because I enjoy movies when I'm with other people. If I see something by myself, I tend to not like it as much because I like to see other people's reactions to it and certain things. So like seeing someone enjoy it a lot more. But yeah, I liked it a lot more than I remember watching it the first time.
Alright.
So,
That's good. No, that's actually cool. That's cool.
Only the greatest action movie of the decade.
I wouldn't go that
100%.
far.
Whoa.
100%.
Whoa.
Action.
That's-
Whoa.
Action movie.
I don't know about
Whoa.
that, but it was Charlize Theron kills it in the movie.
Tom Hardy as well. Underrated performance.
Doesn't
Nicholas
really
Nicholas
much.
Holt,
Nicholas-
Zoe Kravitz, Rosie Huntington Whitley. I mean, the whole
yeah,
cast
she
is
is.
great. Yeah, she was the pregnant one.
She's in
Nicholas
Zoe
Holt
Kravitz.
was amazing.
Nicholas
in
Holt
this
was
movie.
great.
Yeah,
I
you
would
that.
say
No, yeah,
I'll
I would
give you
argue
that.
he was better than Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy.
I actually
I agree with
Hardy
that.
is underrated in this movie, guys.
He's good. No, he's very good. He's a good Max. but
Absolutely.
I think it's better than
Furiosa
Gibson.
doesn't work without Mad Max. And,
Of course.
do you think anybody could just step in that role and no? It's
I think he's
hard.
better than Mel Gibson, to be honest, but
Oh,
he is. I think
a better actor or a better Mad
in
Max?
Mad Max. I mean,
Road Warrior, though, man.
actor, person,
Around,
yes. But anyway, yeah.
Director.
All right, well,
Did you think
moving
this
on
was
to moving on to
Yeah,
number
absolutely.
3, and the only person who didn't have this on their list is Brian, and that is Logan. And Jacob had it at number 1.
I honestly,
sure, yeah,
I was
you
starting
know.
to think that it wasn't going to make the list. To be honest, I really was starting to think that. But I've talked about Logan.
So you
so
and Keith
much.
both had it on your top 10.
Yeah.
Gio and I were right on the cusp. Right on the cusp.
I
I
think
think it was my
it's
11th
nice.
film.
So I was talking about 2 movies that made me feel very special. This is the second one, and I told Gio when Logan came out, I was like, the only movie that ever made me feel this way is The Force Awakens. Like just this feeling I
Watched
can't
it in IMAX,
describe.
man.
I think we all saw
And
it.
That
all saw it
great
together.
poster right there, yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched a movie so many times, other than The Force Awakens, over and over on Blu-ray, and just the score, the Western score, and yeah, it's incredible. I'm so happy it made it this high and this far. I'm so happy.
I teeter back and forth, but it's probably my favorite X-Men movie.
I think it's the first.
Period.
I think
Yeah.
it's the first movie I saw with
So
you.
what would
with
be
you
the
guys.
runner-up for you? If,
Days of Future Past.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
those 2.
I need to rewatch those two.
It was the first of its kind, obviously, R-rated superhero movie, right? They took the character for what he was in the comic books, and they put him on screen. And this was kind of... James Mangold has been making good movies for a long time, like 3:10 to Yuma, incredible remake that he made for years ago. I personally really, really love the Wolverine.
Me too.
Especially
I'm
the
with you.
director's cut.
Yeah.
Especially because
Yeah.
you
very
get to
good.
see how he sees the character in his real form. Then he takes it up a notch, and that opening scene with the limo, you're right in this, and you're like, all right, we're in for it, and you know right away that this movie's going to be a complete success from the beginning. Hugh Jackman as his final performance, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And then X-23, and I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head. Daphne Keane.
Yeah.
Daphne Keane is great. The whole cast was good as well.
Patrick
But
Stewart.
yeah, I mean,
It was nominated for
different-
best
great-
adapted screenplay.
great story arcs for both Logan and Professor X, and so
Richard E. Grant was in
yeah.
it?
Richard E. Grant. Yeah,
he
he's a
was
scientist.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Patrick Stewart should have been nominated for best supporting actor that year. Honestly,
I mean, hey, if
Nominated.
Sylvester Stallone was for Creed, I agree that
Yeah.
he probably could have been for Logan.
I need to rewatch that one.
Have you only seen it once?
I think so.
Where was it on
Wow.
your list?
10.
10? Nice. I'm just happy.
All right, guys. Well, let's move into the 2 spot. And like I said, the number 1 and number 2, it's a 2-headed race. So Logan came in at 48 points. Inception came in at 61 points with number 2 spot. So Inception is at the number 2 spot.
I mean, Christopher Nolan's brilliance coming off of The Dark Knight. We all wanted that to be his next movie, and then we heard about Inception, and we're like, okay, it could be cool. Nobody expected it to be what it, turned out to be. I mean, I still remember people in theaters leaving and being like, "What did I just watch?" It's that
People still do
insane.
that.
Yeah, that crazy good.
So Brian had it at 15, I believe. Gio had it at 5.
5.
You had it at 5. Keith had it at 2. I had it at number 1, and
It
Jacob
was not
didn't-
on my list.
Jacob wasn't
but
on your list.
Trust me, I love this movie, and it's
Best film of the decade.
I
Best
was gonna say
film
it's
of the
I was gonna
decade.
say it's Nolan's best film, but
Best
maybe
film
not
of the
over the
decade.
Dark
I'd be
Knight.
right there with you if it wasn't for my number
But I
one.
just think Leo's my favorite actor too, so it's so hard. This was in. I have I kept my top 5 like 21 through 25, and it's in there. It barely missed. Trust me. Remember I was saying I want to switch my 20th spot? That was one of them. That and Skyfall. I wanted to make the 20th spot.
So I went through. So I made my list, and I had a list of like maybe 30 movies or something. And I was going through and ranking them, and I was like, okay, I like this movie a little bit more than this one. And I started going, and I went, and all of a sudden I got to the last one. I was like, I haven't ranked Inception yet, and I thought to myself, it's a clear cut favorite, a clear cut.
Yeah.
It to me, it's a perfect movie. It is a perfect movie in my mind. It has the score, it has the cinematography, it has the story, it has the characters, and it has the direction from Nolan himself. Leo, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy,
Marion Cotillard.
Marion Cotillard, Michael
Yeah,
Caine
she's
is in
great.
there as well.
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page, yeah, one of her best performances. Ken Watanabe.
I like her, but she's really there just to.
She's the engineer.
Have a female.
She is. Well, no, just
Cillian Murphy.
for someone to. Yes,
Cillian
Love
Murphy.
him.
I love him.
Cillian
Yes.
Murphy at the end, which is great.
Someone to explain everything to, because that's all everyone does.
Well, she's for the audience.
So she's
for the audience.
Because I watched it a couple months ago.
Yeah,
I
we're
was
kind
like,
of viewing it through her eyes.
Yeah,
Think
you can
about
say
it.
that. Yeah.
And one of the best endings of all time.
Yes.
Yes.
With the topper. One of the best endings of all time.
Hans Zimmer's time score.
I listen to it all
Me
the
too,
time.
yep.
All the time.
I listened to that work last week, actually.
I remember going and looking up, like, I need to know what the answer is to the top. And, like, for like the next day, trying
Well,
to
you know the thing about it, the theory of it, which I think Nolan may have confirmed. I'm not sure, but about DiCaprio's character with his ring, his wedding ring and stuff.
What do you call it? The top.
Yeah.
The top is not the totem.
No, it is. But so it's in all the dream sequences.
It's the wedding ring.
He's wearing his ring, and in real life he's not. But if you catch when he's getting off that plane, he's not wearing the ring.
So they think the wedding ring is the actual totem?
I think the top is the totem, but it's saying he was having those situations where he didn't know
Interesting.
what was real, what wasn't.
That just adds another layer to the movie.
So
Just adds another
Every time
And
I
I
talk
watched
about that
the-
movie, I want to go rewatch
I know,
it.
right?
Because it's like,
Yeah.
there's so
Well,
much
just
in
the
it.
idea of it, like a dream within a dream within a dream.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And I love dream stuff, so...
And do we think Tenet is? Because I'm hearing rumors that Tenet is possibly related.
I think it is. I said it a year
I
ago.
think it is. I think it is.
too.
Watching
Said
that
a year
trailer,
ago, I think it is.
my kids, I didn't say anything to them.
That'd
My
be
son was
pretty
like,
cool.
"Is this part of it? Is this
Yeah,
Inception?"
I think it is.
Feels
Might
the
be.
same.
Yeah,
It feels the same.
very much so.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, moving on to our number one spot for the decade. Like I said, 1 point. It was
I already
decided
know
by
what it
1
is.
point.
It has to be. Go ahead and say it.
Captain America: The Winter
What?
Soldier.
What?
Yep. Captain America: The Winter Soldier ended up in number
I
one.
knew that's what it was going to be.
And the only person who didn't have it on its list is Mr. Bartley, and whoever had.
I didn't even have it on my top 10
Keith
comic
had it at
list.
number 3 at the highest.
Jacob
I had
hates
it
this movie.
at number 7. Brian had it at number 9, and
Oh
Gio
my goodness.
had it at
Can we
number
get
7
going?
as well.
Can we move to a new decade?
Jacob hates this
Ready?
movie for some reason. All right.
So our top 10
I'm
comic book movies of
sure.
the decade, and our top 10 movies of the decade is topped by Captain America: The Winter Soldier with 62.
Where'd you have it?
points.
Sorry.
I had it at number 7.
Really?
Lord.
Wow.
It's pretty
I
low.
thought you were going to have it at
Disappointing.
number 1 or 2.
Wow.
Did I have
To
it
be
highest?
honest.
I'm
You
sure.
had
I
it the highest at number 3.
yeah.
Where you had Inception at number 1?
No,
2.
I did.
Also?
I did.
What was your number 1?
Sicario.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Well, you two are clearly the most shocked over here, so what's the thought process?
I already
No, I
knew
mean,
it was
I
gonna
did
be.
this.
You
thinking
got
it was
no.
gonna be Endgame, and then
Are
I
you
was
serious?
No, you know I love Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I mean, it transcends comic book genre. It's the threat is very real in the movie. Every action scene you feel it. And that's just a testament to how the choreography is done, the actors, and the way the movie's shot. Joe and Anthony Russo, their first venture into big budget blockbusters, let alone a comic book movie, let alone a Captain America movie that needed to up the stakes and put
I screwed myself over.
Captain
Why?
America.
Because I didn't put Inception on the list. I should have put Inception on my list and it would have beat Winter Soldier. Just kidding. I love Winter Soldier. It's a great film.
Oh yeah,
It is.
You didn't even believe that.
It
You
is.
just smiled when you said it.
You didn't
Trust
have it
me.
on your comic book list.
I love that movie, but I don't feel the same way about it as you guys do. It's cool. It's a great movie, but it's not like all timer for me.
It's a perfect movie.
It's not.
So your number one was Sicario.
It's all right.
Your number one was
Logan,
Logan.
Inception.
The Social Network.
Damn.
I really wanted to get
Mine
that
was
on.
Endgame.
Hey,
I really
It was
wanted
on
to
my
get
list,
that.
Gio.
We're gonna so
It's
let's
on
go
my
right now.
list.
So we talked about our top 10. So let me run through our top 10 real quick, guys. Before we get to our honorable mentions here for a second. So our top 10 for the decade goes as follows. We have Baby Driver at 10, Ex Machina at 9, Birdman at 8, Avengers Infinity War at 7, Sicario at 6, Star Wars The Force Awakens at 5, Mad Max Fury Road at 4, Logan at 3, Inception at 2, and Captain America
That's
The
a
Winter Soldier at
Fantastic
1.
list, though. That represents us as a group so well.
That's a
that
great list.
I was
To be honest,
Right
I'm
out. It's
pretty-
right out.
I'd rather see. Sorry, but I would actually rather see Inception be number 1.
So would I.
If I could switch,
But
if it could, but
No,
I mean,
you
we
can't do
can't.
that just to put it.
so we can't. It's point system. It's a
Oh no,
point
no.
system. So,
Yeah. If I would,
if anybody's screaming at the screen right now, it's a point system.
I have
That's how it
Inception
works.
at 2 and when sort of.
I was the only one who knew the list, and everyone's probably thinking he rigged it. I didn't rig it.
Well,
Inception
yeah, I just
was
felt
my
like
number
this
one
thinking
movie.
it was Endgame.
Inception was my number one movie.
So
So
Endgame was
right.
your number one, right? Because the other day you said you think it's your favorite movie of all time. So of course it's.
So let's run through our honorable mentions real quick. These are the
Please.
20 through 11 spot, and then we'll get to our individual list. I'll name off the individual list.
Shame
But
on all.
at number 20, because it was only on Brian's list at the 3 spot, the Peanut Butter Falcon, the lone 2020
Nice.
movie.
You didn't even
Or
put it.
2019 movie. No, it was just outside of my
too
20.
new.
Yeah,
Too
it's,
new.
I didn't put any 2019
Oh my god,
movie
it
in.
was.
I didn't put a single
That movie
2019
moved-
movie on my list.
Moved
I love it. I still
Um,
haven't. I'm dying to see it.
Number 19, and this is absurd. Man of Steel.
What?
This is absurd that
Hell
this is
yeah.
this high.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sorry. It's absurd that this
How is that
this movie-
absurd?
This movie is not a top 20 movie of the decade.
Absolutely.
It is not a top 20
Absolutely.
movie of the decade. I'm
It's
sorry.
brilliant.
So who put it? This one and this
I
one?
don't
Yeah,
think
these
Mad
two.
Max Fury Road is the top 20 movie of the decade at all, even close.
And Man of Steel is better.
Man of Steel
So,
is
It
what? No,
is
man.
not.
Man of Steel is better.
Anyway,
Nice.
number 18. And this was only on Gio and I's list. Spotlight.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
movie.
That's one of the ones y'all
great
mentioned the other
film.
day, and I went, ah.
Yeah.
Is that the
So
John
I would
Hall
agree.
one?
I
No, that's
No.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, Mark
Mark
Ruffalo,
Ruffalo, yeah.
Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's about very hard movie.
love and hate that movie.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I hate everything in it.
Number 17, and this was on Brian, Keith, and my list, and I had the highest, Arrival, the Denis
Nice.
Villeneuve.
I thought
movie.
about that.
One of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
personally.
It's great.
Yes.
Great.
Love that movie.
16, and this is thanks to Brian and Keith. Brian had it at the 2 spot, Lady Bird.
Nice.
I love you, Keith. This is why you're my
Keith
favorite.
had it at number 18.
You know what? I should have had.
I wanted to
Lady
get it
Bird
higher, to be
somewhere.
honest.
Like,
I would've-
I didn't even. That's the movie I forgot is Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Because
Man.
not that it would have made my top 20, but I didn't even have
didn't
it
think about it,
as
yeah.
a consideration.
Yeah, right.
I should-
I
That's the one I
fact
forgot.
that you forgot about it says something.
love that movie so much.
No, like
It's-
it might have been in my top 20.
It,
It wouldn't have made top 10.
it
though,
honestly is probably maybe top 5, maybe top 3 of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I hear you.
I love that
I
movie.
hear you.
Number 15, and this is thanks to Jacob having it at number 19, Brian having it at number 18, and Gio having it at number 1, The Social Network.
This
Nice.
movie should be so much higher.
Yeah.
you kidding me? This is David Fincher's best film
I-
right here.
I'll argue that.
It was battling for
And
me. I
Andrew
wanted
Garfield-
Garfield got robbed of a best supporting
Agreed.
actor nomination. Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. The pacing of the movie. What's his name? Who wrote the movie? He has a cameo in it. Who wrote
It's not
the movie?
Sorkin, is it?
Oh, Aaron Sorkin. Yeah,
It
Aaron
is
Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh,
Listen, and the more
I haven't seen it in so long.
and the
he
score.
complained.
so
Yeah,
long.
score is great.
From Trent and
Trent Reznor and
Yeah.
Atticus Ross.
Atticus Ross.
And Zuckerberg complained about his portrayal in it, and now you look at him now, and you're like, no,
Similar.
That's absolutely that's absolutely how you are.
I do
all right.
remember loving that movie when it came out.
Me
That was
too.
one
Yeah,
of the
no,
first
I'm
Blu-rays
with
I
you.
ever bought.
Fincher's my favorite
Justin-
director of
Justin
all time. So
Timberlake
that-
has-
Rooney Mara very briefly played.
Yeah.
Remember she's in it? Yeah.
All right, well, moving on to number 14, and Gio had this in the 18 spot, and Brian had it at number 1, Avengers Endgame.
Excuse me, this
Nice.
is what number?
This is number 14.
Shame on all of you.
Oh,
Well,
none of
for
us,
social
neither of us had it on our
Infinity
list.
War made the list.
Neither of us had it on our list.
Shame on all.
No, me either. I don't
Yeah.
have mine either.
I can't believe it. I'm just asking.
Again, if I did this list next year, it'll more than
Yeah.
likely end up on the list.
And true,
I didn't do any
5
2019
years from
movies.
now,
I
You
can't
know,
get it ahead of
but-
Infinity War.
I
me
didn't do
neither.
any. I didn't
That's
do
the
any
thing for
2019
me.
movies
It's
because
like-
they're so fresh to me. I didn't touch a
Infinity
single
War is
one.
a better movie. Like it's just for me. So
I
that's
Yeah.
why I
swear
just,
to
yeah.
God, if that Molly's Game movie comes up over this,
Oh, I
I'm gonna
wish.
smack.
no nobody.
Well, so
Oh,
I'm
swear
with,
to God.
I cut my cutoff was I cut off at Aladdin. Like Aladdin, and I didn't do anything after that came out after
Did
that.
you put Aladdin?
It's no, it's not on my top 20, but it was on my
That
long
surprises
list.
me.
it was on my long list.
I
too.
thought about
Yeah.
it. I definitely thought about it.
All right, moving on to number 13, and this is because of Brian, Keith, and myself. And Brian had it the highest, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan.
Nice.
I didn't even see that movie until
Last year.
Last year.
Oh, really?
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Holy mother
It
of
Oh,
God.
man.
it gets better every time I watch it.
Yeah.
It really does because I understand it more and more.
Also, score.
Yeah,
Hans
one
Zimmer.
of probably the best overall
Whoa.
score of all time.
Man.
I remember sitting in that theater and watching the detached scene when McConaughey is trying to attach to the broken space shuttle.
Yeah.
And that music kicks up. I was sitting in IMAX, and the seats they have now, they were brand new. And I was sitting with my buddy Shaw, and we both go, whoop, and sit back, and we're like, what is going on? And it's just spinning.
Yeah, right.
And the camera's going with the ship. It's not sitting on the ship. It's going with the ship around and around and around.
If I could go back in time and see any movie in theater, it would be that in IMAX.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it at home.
It had to be one of the most confusing movies of all time I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I'd go
People
coming out
were.
of it.
I was in
Oh
film
my
school
God.
at the time, and people were saying
Oh.
just like that. Or
I
people, it was so
couldn't
mixed.
write a review about it. That's back when we were doing our website. I was like, I can't write a review about this movie. I don't know what
Could
the
not
hell I
get what was going
Explain
on.
it all in your
Yeah.
review. No.
I have 3 Nolan movies in my top, 2 in my top 4, and then Interstellar was.
I have
third.
2 of his in my top 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to number 12, and this is thanks to Keith, who had the highest, and Brian, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo!
Nice.
Love that movie.
You had it
The
at
only
number
ones
6,
that,
Keith. You had it at number 6.
These guys don't.
Hey,
All 3 of you.
I like
It's
it.
not even the best
They're not
animated.
cultured like we
It's not
Look
even-
at me.
It's not
Look
even the
at
best
me.
animated movie
This movie
of the
is
decade.
Yeah.
It's not even the best animated movie of the
This
decade.
movie is perfect.
It's
Into the
not-
Spider Verse is a perfect.
What's
I
the
just
best-
watched it again
What's
last
the better
night.
I love
animated
it.
movie?
What's the
It's-
best?
It's better than Toy Story 3.
Yes.
It's better than Inside Out.
Yes.
It's not better than Frozen, Keith.
Yes. It is. This movie is perfect.
It
Into
if
the
it's
Spider-Verse
not
It's a
perfect,
beautiful
it's pretty
film.
damn
It really
perfect.
is.
This movie's perfect.
All right,
You guys don't
It's
know
a
what you're
great
talking
movie,
about.
but
the
Great
number
analysis.
11 spot.
Have you noticed that all of these honorable mentions is where my name keeps floating?
The number-
Nothing in the
The number 11 spot, and this is the one that just
Here it
barely
is.
missed the list by 3 points. This was only on 2 lists for Gio and Jacob. Steve Jobs.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I
haven't
had
seen
it
either.
pretty
Steve-
damn high. I think it's in my
rewatch
top
this.
10.
In fact, I'm gonna watch this movie.
You
tonight.
had it
Danny
at
Boyle, right?
7, I think, right?
Ah,
You had it high, so you had it at
7. I think.
20, 19, 18, 17. No, you had it at number 4.
It's Danny Boyle.
Or no, you had it
I
at
had
4.
number- I had
You
number
had it
4.
at 7. Yeah, you
Oh,
had it at
nice.
4.
oh my God, Michael Fassbender is
Seth
God
Rogen.
level
I
great.
want to see this
Seth
movie. I can't
Rogen?
believe I haven't seen this movie.
Jacob,
No.
who thought Seth Rogen had it in it
He was
to do
pretty
this?
good in
And
it,
again,
yeah.
another
Yeah, right.
testament that comedic actors can do dramatic roles. They can do drama.
Right, it's Wozniacki?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's right.
Wozniak.
It's very different, but it kind of reminds me of Birdman a little bit. The way, because it's like it's only about these 3 events that
3
where
different
they're
time
launching
periods. Yeah.
this product in 3 different time periods, and you get to see Michael Fassbender plays it so well. How
Steve
it's like
Jobs.
the way he is. He's not a nice person, but he did for what he did. He had to be that cutthroat in the way he was.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the relationship with him and
Kate Winslet.
Kate
right?
Winslet.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet is
She's really
amazing
great.
in this
Yeah,
movie.
Jeff Daniels.
She's doing an accent the whole time.
That
And
scene,
That scene.
that
with
scene of Michael Fassbender and Jeff Daniels in the
Jeff
hallway.
Daniels.
Oh,
Yeah.
incredible.
Man.
Incredible.
Who plays? Oh, Catherine Waterston plays his wife. That's who it is. Or his
Really?
girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays
I
his
know
girlfriend.
I like her.
Yeah.
I know
And
she-
the whole thing about his daughter, it's just touching. And we saw it in theaters and
Yes.
we loved it. And then I bought it on Blu-ray and I just kept watching it and watching it over and over again. I was like, I freaking love this
It's a
movie.
movie that you can rewatch
And
a lot of times.
Danny Boyle, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember because it was going to be Fincher,
Mhm.
right? With Christian Bale, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
It had been in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
It's a movie that people have wanted to do for a while.
Yeah.
Can't believe I
that
gotta sit
barely
and watch
missed
this.
it. But how many points did
3.
No, I can't.
Well,
put it
you
over-
also have
Yeah.
me and Keith both have.
I
seen
can't
it.
put
Yeah,
it
I've seen
over
it. I
Mad
probably-
Max or Birdman or The
Yeah.
Social Network.
Hey, that
I would
that's
imagine if
close
I'd
enough.
seen it, I'm sure I'd like it. That's
Dang.
probably on
Close
the
enough,
list.
dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let me read these off real quick for our top 20. I'll read them all off at once.
I'm so disgusted in all of you.
So we have the Peanut Butter Falcon at number 20, Man of Steel at 19, Spotlight at 18, Arrival at 17, Lady Bird at 16, The Social Network at 15, Avengers Endgame at 14, Interstellar at 13, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse at 12, Steve Jobs at 11, Baby Driver at 10, Ex Machina at 9, Birdman at 8, Avengers Infinity War at 7, Sicario at 6, Star Wars The Force Awakens at 5, Mad Max Fury Road at 4, Logan at 3, Inception at 2, and Captain America The Winter Soldier at 1. And there is not a single movie on that list that is on every one of our lists.
That's
The
crazy.
highest one is 4 out of the 5.
Only 2 MCU films, right?
Only 2. No, 3. Out of the 20.
Out of the
top
top
10?
10?
Two
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Wow, no Whiplash. Anyone?
You're the only one who had it on your list.
I'm
Damn.
surprised. Did anyone have The Town?
Nope.
Nobody
Nope.
had The Town? Wow.
That's a
It
great film, though.
barely missed
Hey,
my
Skyfall.
Creed?
Who had Skyfall?
Nobody.
I'm actually surprised Skyfall's not on.
Yeah.
In the
It
honorable
was
mention.
battling for me as well.
I don't know.
Thor Ragnarok?
Let's
Skyfall.
read.
That-
Why don't we read
It
our
was in
individual
my
list?
Okay.
Ragnarok was on my list. Trust
Um,
me.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through our individual
Do you want
lists?
us to read
have to
our?
read mine.
Do you want us
Good.
to read our?
I can read them all because I have them all.
Okay.
Unless you have them in front of you.
I got mine.
You got it in front
I
of you?
have mine. Yeah. So.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start with mine real quick. Okay, so my 20 through 1. I have Zero Dark 30 at 20. Nightcrawler at 19. Rush at 18.
Rush.
Interstellar at 17. The Nice Guys at 16. Baby Driver at 15. Mission Impossible Fallout at 14. Did you forget about The Nice Guys?
Yes.
Keith!
I think we're gonna have to
Oh,
redo this
man.
list.
Keith!
That would have been in my top 10.
Keith! All right.
You should have consulted with Jake.
The Nice Guys at 16, Baby Driver at 15, Mission Impossible Fallout at 14, The Raid Redemption at 13,
Ooh, good one.
So good.
Logan at 12, Sicario at 11, Spotlight at 10, The Force Awakens at 9, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes at 8, Captain America the Winter Soldier at 7, Arrival at 6, Blade Runner 2049 at 5, Birdman at 4, Mad Max Fury Road at 3, Ex Machina at 2, and Inception at 1.
Nice.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So I had The Social Network at number 20, Deadpool at number 19, Wind River at number 18,
Ugh.
Inside Out at number 17, Man of Steel at number 16, The Conjuring at number 15,
You did have that.
The Wolf of Wall Street at number 14,
I'm surprised that didn't make the list.
This Is the End at number 13, The Avengers at number 12, Thor Ragnarok at number 11, Silver Linings Playbook at number 10,
That's a good one.
The Edge of 17 at number 9, Steve
Oh, wow.
Jobs at number 8, Django Unchained at number 7,
Nice.
Avengers Infinity War at number 6, Ex Machina at number 5, Don John at number 4, Gone Girl at number 3,
Wow.
The Force Awakens at number 2, and Logan at number 1. Gone Girl, that's my main one that I'm upset didn't make the list. Is Gone Girl.
It wasn't on a single. It was just only on your list.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don John's that high?
I remember when
Yeah.
you first watched that.
Just
movie,
because
man.
of Scarlett Johansson.
No, I have an inner deep connection with that film. I can do a whole hour-long podcast on if we need to.
Oh,
Keith,
creepy.
Interesting.
Oh.
I haven't seen it.
isn't that movie about him jacking off?
Yep.
Right.
And going to church. And,
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's
listen.
addicted to porn.
It's not about that. It's
I'm
all right.
pretty sure it
Hey,
is.
I will say this: that
Wanky.
hallway scene where Scarlett Johansson teases him.
Oh.
Stop.
Dude,
It's crazy. But it's not just about that. It's about the way.
just give me crap, man.
No, it's about the way media and society has objectified women over the years and
Okay.
how it's turned from when you're a young boy, it
Yeah.
turns you into a pervert from when you're a young boy, and then how you get into a domesticated relationship and a woman, and not just a woman, but the other partner tries to hold you back from being that. There's so many levels to get into Don John, so that's
Hey, I'd love to do like
Interesting.
a rewatch review or
Yeah.
something, man. Like,
yeah. So that's
that's a conversation.
part
we
of the
have.
reasons why I love that.
I
movie.
haven't seen it. I didn't know any of that. Yeah, wow.
But-
It's interesting.
ScarJo as Barbara Sugarland.
It is ridiculous.
And her name is so perfect, Barbara Sugarland or Sugarman. It's
Sugarman.
Barbara Sugarman.
Man.
That's her name of the movie.
Jump,
It's so
chewing.
yeah,
Big
it's
of the
crazy.
hoop.
It's hilarious too. It's really
It
funny.
looked like
Yeah.
it was kinda
Keith?
funny, so. All right, 20, which I'd be knocking off for like Nice Guys or what is the other one? What's the other
Yeah.
one?
Hey, give us your update.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. So those two would definitely be in here, but whatever. But 20 was Guardians of the Galaxy. Force Awakens at 19. Lady Bird at 18. Excuse me, I had Arrival. 17. 16, I had The Town. No one else has The Town?
Nope.
Honestly,
I love the town.
It's right. It's right on.
I
the
didn't
cusp,
react
man.
too much, but that's another one of those I forgot.
Okay.
Honestly, it would have been in my top 20
Yeah.
if I would have remembered it.
Oh, I have one.
It would have been in my top 20. Maybe Lady Bird too, but
Yeah.
definitely The Town, dude.
Interstellar at 15. I've got Mission Impossible Fallout at 14. Excuse me, I have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World at 13. Edge of Tomorrow at 12.
God, I love
God,
that.
that's a
I
good
love that movie.
I could
I
literally
haven't
watch
seen
it.
it.
Love that
Oh,
movie.
you would really like it. I think
That's
you
what
would.
he says. He said I'm not allowed to watch it without him.
Yeah.
I might have to get in on that.
And
Yeah,
if you
I'll
like,
watch
and
it.
if you
We
like
should all
Emily
watch it.
Blunt,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's another Emily Blunt movie.
She's
It came out It came out the same year as
Was it Sicario?
no.
Come on. Oh, this year before.
Yeah, back-to-back years.
Yeah,
Back to back.
Sicario's next year. Yeah.
A different side of Nick Cage, not the action hero. Well,
He's
Tom
in
Cruise.
Edge of-
At first.
oh, I was gonna say.
Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Not Nick Cage.
Is it Nick Cage?
Nick Cage.
Oh, I-
Could you imagine Nick Cage?
Very
doing
different movie.
tomorrow.
Well, no,
I actually think it wouldn't be that bad. But not Tom Cruise. A Quiet Place at 11, another Emily Blunt
There you
vehicle. I love that movie. I can't wait for the new one. Logan at 10. Rogue One at 9. That's my...
nice.
You guys all
No,
Rogue
yeah.
One, yeah. Creed at 8. Nobody had Creed?
I was so
amazing.
close.
Creed was
so
in my
close.
21, 22,
Wow.
23.
So close.
Yeah.
Creed is amazing compared to the Social Network. It's cute.
Wow, those are fighting words.
Our fighting movie.
I agree with that.
Infinity War at 7. The Perfect Into the Spider-Verse at 6. Baby Driver at 5. Had Dunkirk at my number 4.
Wow.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Wow. I'm surprised at
Through a rough
that.
time.
It's-
That
Sure, right.
So.
Okay, well,
But,
no,
yeah, I will. Watch
It's-
it. I will.
I'm one of the people that a lot of people complain about the structure of it. I think it's brilliant. I love Dunkirk, man. It's very close as far as Nolan movies with Inception for me. So I love Dunkirk. I'd Winter Soldier at 3, Inception 2, and Sicario at number 1.
Brian?
All right, here's the fun list.
Juana Man came out in 2000.
First thing I asked him, I go, is White Chicks in this era?
I think that was 2005 or something.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't?
Yeah.
Mine is 20 was Arrival, 19 The Social Network, 18 Avengers Infinity War, 17 A Quiet Place, 16 Love Simon, 15 Inception, 14 La La Land, 13 Toy Story 3, 12 The Avengers. I'm shocked this didn't make the list. A Star is Born, number 11, 10 Mad Max, 9 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, 8 Bohemian Rhapsody, 7 Star Wars The Force Awakens, 6 Interstellar, 5 Captain America Winter Soldier. I'm actually surprised this one didn't make it because I thought you would have had this. Number 4, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
I was fighting for it.
Yeah.
I really was.
3, The Peanut Butter Falcon, 2, Lady Bird, and number 1, Avengers.
What, did you say part 2?
What?
Deathly Hallows?
Yeah.
The second
I would have had part 1, actually. But I
I
was...
watch part 1.
Part 1 is... Yeah, but yeah.
All right, Mr. Geo.
All right, number 20, Thor Ragnarok. 19, The Wolf of Wall Street. 18, Avengers Endgame. 17, Hacksaw Ridge. 16, Avengers Infinity War. 15, Skyfall. 14, Sicario. 13, Logan. 12, Spotlight. 11, Moneyball.
Moneyball?
10,
that was its decade, wasn't it? I love Moneyball. That's good.
Oh, man.
Wow. I was thinking it was earlier than that.
You forget about Hacksaw Ridge?
I forgot.
Yeah.
And I love that movie.
You're the
It's
only
a
one who
great
had it on
film.
your list, too, Hacksaw Ridge.
I had to.
It almost made mine.
10 is Baby Driver, which turned out to be number 10. 9, The Big Short. 8,
Nice.
Good
Whiplash. 7, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 6, Man of Steel. Honestly, I could flip those two any day. Honestly,
If you flipped them, Captain America Winter Soldier wouldn't be number 1.
all right. Number 5 is Inception. Number 4 is Steve Jobs. Number 3 is Mad Max: Fury Road, the best action movie of the decade. Number 2, Birdman, and number 1 is The Social Network. Nature's
Nice.
best.
I want Keith to do a redo and see how bad this whole
I might
thing
have-
changes.
Yeah. I love Hacksaw Ridge. Actually moved,
So you left off
moved me to tears.
Your 3 that you left off: Hacksaw, the other guys,
The Nice Guys.
Nice guy.
oh, the nice guys,
What are you
whatever.
about?
The other
I was
guys did
saying,
come out.
Nice Guys
second,
was
yeah.
might have been my favorite movie that year.
And then what was the last one?
I was the only
Ex
one.
Machina.
Yeah,
Ex
I was the
Machina.
only one that loved that movie, and the 3 of us when we did that.
I
Nice
really
Guys?
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not as much as
Love
you.
that. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think I honestly turned that movie off.
That movie's
Really?
incredible.
Oh, that movie's awesome.
Incredible.
I never finished. There's what was your top 5 again? Sorry.
5, I had
Birdman.
Inception was number 5. Number 4 was let me look.
Mad Max?
No, that was number 3.
You had Inception, Steve Jobs,
Oh, yeah.
Mad Max, Birdman, and
Steve
Social
Jobs.
Network.
Where'd you have The Big Short?
At number 9.
'Cause I never finished that. That's why
Number
it's
9.
really good from what I watched,
Oh,
but I never
really
finished it.
good.
But I would have probably had that in there too.
Yeah.
Crazy lists, man.
I really wanted to
That's
get.
fun.
I'm just looking at my long list. I tried so hard to get Lone Survivor and John Wick. I wanted one of the. I keep mentioning John Wick. Any one of the John Wicks. Those are the best action movies of the decade. Excuse me. And somebody brought up The Fighter the other day. I would have definitely had that in there.
So good.
So. And Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water and the Silver Linings Playbooks were the 2.
I was gonna say no one had Silver Linings
Silver Lining
Playbook on
Playbooks
there.
was the one
It was
that I
pretty
was-
high up there for me too.
Yeah.
Was there
It's a great movie.
Not one Pixar movie on any of our lists?
I had Inside Out.
Yeah, he had the Inside
I had
Out.
Toy Story
Okay.
3.
You did.
Yeah, and he had Toy Story 3.
I thought about Toy Story 3
I don't
also.
have any. You know my long list.
The one anime movie, and I know it's so different than everybody else, but the one anime movie that I like the most is Zootopia.
Zootopia. I was about.
Dude, it
gonna
was
say,
on
I'm
my big
looking at it
list.
right now.
It was
I was
on
gonna
my
say,
big
yeah.
list, and I had Fallout right outside of my list. Is Mission Impossible Fallout?
Ooh, and The Revenant. I
Yeah.
Overrated.
That movie.
Yeah.
I literally tried to fall asleep during that movie.
I was so excited for it, and it disappointed
Jake,
me.
would
to
you
be
have-
honest.
Where did I have Snowpiercer? It was
Was that like
around
in
the
your
30 range.
30 range?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a
too,
good
for
one,
that,
yeah.
right? Snowpiercer's good.
Oh,
And
man.
that's
I don't know if I would have had that high.
that is strictly because I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
Yeah, same here. So I just
If
saw it once.
I would have rewatched it, it probably would have been like
Yeah, right.
skyrocketed right
Yeah,
up.
you made me watch it last year, and it was really good.
Yeah, I love
Does anybody
it.
have The
Says
Martian?
on Social Network.
I Martian's up there as well.
Yeah.
It's in the 20 range, the 12
Yeah.
to 30,
Martian?
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, there it is. Our decade list
That's
of
fun, man.
the 2010s, our top 10 films with 10 honorable mentions, and our individual list as well. So head down in the comments. Let us know what you guys think of our list, of our individual list, our consensus list, what your list is, what your favorite movie of the decade is. Are we wrong on anything? Is anybody single-handedly wrong on anything?
You asked Jacob why didn't have any horror movies. I didn't hear any horror movies.
Well, he had The Conjuring.
Conjuring.
He had The Conjuring.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah,
I missed that.
yeah,
Oh,
he was
did.
Conjuring.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
on there.
Probably
Yeah.
the best one of the decade.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Happy Death Day.
No.
I thought
I
about
love it.
Conjuring
Follows.
and the new Halloween.
It Follows.
That's a great movie.
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't put
It
Ouija on
follows.
there.
Or
seen that.
the other
Or
movie, the
Hereditary.
other movie quickly, The Guest. Has anybody seen The Guest?
No, you've told me
Oh
to
no!
watch that.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's with
So Dan Stevens.
yeah.
So good. All right, guys. Well, there it is. This is Apocaflix movies for our top 10 movies of the decade. We're going to be continuing the list of videos that we have here on the channel. The next ones up are our favorite films of 2019, our top 10 movies of 2019. We'll probably do like a geek list like we did last year because there's a lot of geek stuff, and then an overall movie list as well. And then after that will be the most anticipated movies of 2020. So look out for that in the coming weeks. And then you can check out our top 10 comic book movies of the decade as well. That is already up on the channel. And make sure if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that share button, leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button. We really, really appreciate the support. For Jacob, Keith, Brian, Gio, and myself, this is Apocaflix Movies. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocaflix Movies, click this video up here. You want something a little bit different? Check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.